Hello everybody, good morning and welcome to the United Stand. This is your latest Manchester United news and transfer news. Some big updates around Rafael Varane, Paul Pogba, Camavinga, and it's Sunday morning, so there's a lot to talk about as well, especially, as I said, in relation to Varane and Pogba. I wasn't going to be talking about Pogba, but Varane this morning, moving closer to a Manchester United move with resolution coming this week and potentially a bid coming in this week. A very interesting angle on the Varane news that you won't have seen from many outlets. I had to dig really deep to get this information, and I think you'll be very excited about it. So looking forward to the show this morning. As I said, some updates on Camavinga, the goalkeeping situation, a right back, a new right back option, as well as Paul Pogba. So lots to talk in as your questions as well. And also, it's a big day. Whether you want England to win or not, there's going to be tears, floods of tears tonight. Whether it'll be an England win or an Italy win, there will be tears. It is exciting. Everywhere you need to be tonight, that's football. Mark Goldbridge, that's football. We've got the watch along. We've got reaction. Also, I'll probably be on Twitch this afternoon, Goldbridge TV, doing a bit of a preview chat ahead of that tonight, and probably afterwards on there as well. Hopefully getting a little bit drunk, but we'll see with that. But just in relation to that, United Stand picks, links in the video description. We're giving away £1,000 again for the England-Italy game. If you played this during the normal season, 12 questions to do with the game. Will Harry Kane score? Will England win? Easy questions. For every question you get points. If you're at the top of the leaderboard at the end of the game, and there's a live leaderboard you can look at on the app, then you win the £1,000 cash prize pot. Link is in the description. You've got to be over 18 to play it, because we are giving away cash prizes. Terms and conditions are in the video description as well. £1,000 cash prize pot for the Euros final. You can play it. If you already downloaded United Stand picks from last season, you may as well play it because it's free to play. If you haven't downloaded it, links in the video description. It is free to play. You've got to be over 18. £1,000 cash prize pot, and a bit of fun to play the game whilst for a massive game tonight. So there's a live leaderboard as well, so check it out. Link in the video description. But I'm excited about that. But I'm also excited, after tonight, it's coming home, says Wayne Finnegan. After tonight, the Euros is done. We'll party, hopefully, or we'll forget about it. One way, it's going to Rome or it's coming home. But then it becomes Manchester United have got their first pre-season game a week today. 1 o'clock next Sunday, we're playing Derby County. So it's fast-paced into club news. And look, tomorrow, many of us might want to forget about the Euros. Some of us might want to party a little bit longer. We'll see what happens with that. But it's a big week. Now, I want to start off with the Varane story, because there is... I saw it on MUFC MPB this morning about Pogba making a decision this week. There's an element of truth in that, because Varane's going to be making his decision this week. And therefore, Manchester United could be putting a bid in this week. Now, this is coming from Spain again. I'll start off with a story here from Spain, which is coming from Jorge Calabre, who says Manchester United and Real Madrid are awaiting Rafael Varane's final decision. United's contract offer to Varane is much higher than that of Real Madrid. Madrid think that Varane has not responded to their offer because he will decide to move to United. And there is a feeling that Madrid's offer is effectively a pay cut, whereas Manchester United's offer is more generous. Colin Jerding, thank you very much. The big thing here is, when is Rafael Varane going back to training? Because he's not training at the moment. Now, France got knocked out of the Euros 2 weeks tomorrow. So I did a little bit of digging and spoke to some people who are pretty close to Real Madrid in relation to journalists, etc. And they told me that Ancelotti, who is the new manager, has said that he wants to give players who played in the Euros 20 to 25 days off. So 3 weeks is 21 days, quick maths, and that would mean a week tomorrow would be Varane coming back. So Varane will be going back to pre-season training with Real Madrid any time from a week tomorrow to a week on Thursday, 21 to 25 days. So Varane is going back training with Real Madrid, not this week, he's going back next week. So this week is massive, because if Varane doesn't want to go back training with Real Madrid, then his decision needs to be relayed to Real Madrid this week, so that United can whack that bid in this week. If he doesn't do that, and he decides he's going to go back training and give Ancelotti and Real Madrid a chance, then that means that we're getting into a situation where Varane will go training sometime next week with Ancelotti, have a chat with him, And then you'd start to think, well, if he's going to have a chat with him and start training with him, he might just decide, oh, you know what, it's all right here. So big week for Manchester United, big week for Varane. This is his last week off. He's had 2 weeks since he got knocked out by Italy. A lot of time to talk with his agent, a lot of time to think about his future. The indication is that talk and feeling is that he's going to leave and he's going to come to Manchester United. But this is a very, very big week. And some people will say, well, whatever, you know, he could still go back training with Real Madrid the week after next and come to United. He could do, but look at it like this. And this is the king of analogies for you here. So excited to see Phil Jones in pre-season. It's like the Coca-Cola lorry at Christmas, apart from the fact that you see that more often than Sir Phillips. It's Joshua Bowwater. What's your gut feeling and who we get on the knowledge that you have, mate? Says Philip. I'll come back to that. Good point. And Zane says, Mark, you must be worried as we've signed Tavares. He's more potential than Luke Shaw and Maddison incoming. Saka hat-trick tonight. I hope Saka does get a hat-trick tonight, Zane. Apart from that, you're talking your usual bullshit, but I hope Saka does get a hat-trick tonight. But yes, so let me just come back to Varane. So the reason this is a big week for Varane is because if he wants to come to United, he shouldn't really want to be going back to Real Madrid to get into that mindset. So this week would be a big week. If he goes back to Madrid next week and starts training with Ancelotti, it doesn't mean the deal's off, but it means that they've got a chance to keep him in the club. And what I would say there is, look, imagine, we've all been in this situation, I would hope, even though it's not nice. Whether you're a school kid, whether you're single looking to mingle, some people are married, boo, snakes. But what I'm going to say is, like, you might be in a you might meet somebody, and again, somebody can be a girl or boy or whatever the people call themselves these days, diversity. But you could, you find someone you really like, right? They've been in a relationship, they're not happy, they've left that relationship, and they want to be with you. And you say to them, look, we've been messing around for a little bit of time. I want you to be my girlfriend or my boyfriend, right? And they go, I want to be your girlfriend or boyfriend. If it's a girl, it's girlfriend. They're not thinking about having a sex change or anything like that. If they do, that's fine. I want to be your girlfriend or your boyfriend. And you go, come on then, let's do it, Manchester United. Come on then, Varane, you do it. And then Varane, your girlfriend or boyfriend, goes, yeah, but my ex wants me back. And I just think, and I owe them a chance to go and chat with them. Hold on a minute. I'm binning you off. I'm off to go and pull somebody who wants me. Because the minute that girlfriend goes back to her ex is the minute I get alarm signals and say, why are you going back for a chat with them? They're just gonna lie to you. They're just gonna say they're gonna change, that you're gonna watch your film night every Wednesday, and every Saturday you're gonna go out to a nice restaurant, and then a couple of weeks later he'll be back to doing what he was doing before. He'll be back to neglecting you. He will be back to being down the pub with his mates, talk with his boring chat, and I've probably let the cat out of the bag there. Yeah, it still hurts me now from 20 years ago. No, I'm joking. But no, that's the problem with the Varane thing for me. If he goes back to Real Madrid training next week and Real Madrid get their claws into him, he'll be back with that ex before you can say something. So that is a danger. I mean, but you know what? Maybe Varane is like just a moralistic person who says, I'll hear you out, but I'm still leaving. Thanks for the chat. I am just being respectful. But I think this is a big week. It is a big week. And as I said, he's had 2 weeks off since France got knocked out. Ancelotti wants to give every player 3 weeks off. So this is his last week, really, where he's going to be free to rest and think. And next week, he will be going back to Real Madrid to pre-season. So this is a very big week for Varane. And of course, with the Euros over, psychologically, if you look around today, it's quite quiet in the English media today. I wonder why. It's quiet in the English media today. Because they're all bloody driving or getting the train down to London to go and watch their free bloody final, aren't they? And write the stuff. It's all about England today, quite right. Next week it will kick in. And the feeling in Madrid is that he's going to leave. And the feeling in Madrid is that they can't change his mind. So this week could be very, very big for Varane. Let's see what happens. But yes, he's 2 weeks into 3 weeks off after the Euros. So this week is very, very big. Pogba the same. I mean, look, I don't want to go into Pogba massively because I want to talk about what was said in the Manchester Evening News. Quite interesting Q&A with their chief sports Manchester United editor. I mean, some of it you can take with a pinch of salt, but some of it you can read into. Pogba, is it a big week for Pogba? I don't think it's a big week for Pogba. I don't think it's a big week for Pogba. I've not seen a leaked lineup yet, dear. It normally comes out in the next couple of hours. As soon as I have, I will let you know on Twitter at Mark Goldbridge. But I think that in relation to Paul Pogba, I don't think a decision is made this week by Paul Pogba. It's interesting, actually. They were saying in the Manchester Evening News yesterday, any news on Bruno and Shaw contracts? Christian, those contracts will happen. You know what I think about Bruno and Shaw contracts? Boring. Oh, boring. I mean, Man City signed their best players on new contracts and no one gives a shit. I mean, why is it news when... Yeah, it's so boring news keeping a player that's good at Manchester United. It used to be a standard and now we celebrate it like we've won a bloody trophy. You know, again, it's like your wife coming downstairs one morning and saying, I'm going to stay with you for another 3 years. But we've been married for 10. Yeah, but I'm going to stay. Great, thanks. Should we go for a walk and take the dog out? That's really interesting news, that is. In other news, I'm about to lose my job. You know, so it's... Yeah, I'm happy Shaw and Bruno are going to sign a new contract, but it can only be bad news if they say they don't. Why don't they want to stay at United? Bruno and Shaw are achieving, they're loved by the fans, they should be signing new deals, but we celebrate them now like it's signing a new player because we're so bereft of good news. Beside football, Mark, how's life? Says Jamie Murray. Very good, mate. Hope you're well as well. Can I please give our community a background on who is MUFC MTB? Well, you've got the wrong account for a bit. But can you please give it? Well, it's a Twitter account. It's a news aggregating account. So, yeah. But, yeah, in relation to Paul Pogba, I don't actually agree that Paul Pogba is a player that is going to make a decision on his future this week. This is, again, from French outlets that he'll make a decision this week and that he wants to join PSG, who are targeting him. I don't... Look, very interesting piece in the Manchester Evening News yesterday. They were asked about Paul Pogba, and the reply from the Manchester Evening News was, why are Manchester United so bothered about a player whose commitment to the club is questionable, and they shouldn't be indulging any of his demands? And what they listed was he wanted to go. He was offered to Man City 2.5 years ago. 2 summers ago he wanted to go. Christmas he wanted to go, and now he still wants to go. So Pogba's commitment to Manchester United is questionable, according to Manchester Evening News journalist Samuel Lucas. Let's clarify that. And we should not be indulging his demands. He wants to leave, and this is something that I think we just need to get our head around. If he wants to go to PSG, or he wants to go to Juventus, or he wants to go to Real Madrid, let's go back to December, when the night before our Leipzig game, which we needed to win to stay in the Champions League, Mino Raiola dropped the biggest bomb of transfer news in a long time. Pogba will not sign a contract. He doesn't want to be at this club. This club basically isn't good for him. And I think all that happened is Solskjaer sat down Pogba and said, look, we can sort it out in the summer. Be professional. And that is... I don't think I don't know why United fans think that Pogba has changed his mind. What's changed in the 6 months since he wanted to leave? Oh, we've fucked up another European trophy. We've come second in the league again. I mean, this must be breaking news for Pogba. He's been second before under Mourinho, and he's lost finals before with Mourinho. So I don't think Pogba's going to change his mind about wanting to leave United. And I think some people think that he was. I like Pogba, as everybody knows, but I've seen no evidence or heard no evidence to suggest that he is any way committed to changing his mind about wanting to leave. And to be honest with you, can you blame him? He's been here 5 years. On one hand, we want Varane to leave Real Madrid because he needs a new challenge. And on the other hand, we're demanding Paul Pogba stays at United, who for 5 years has never been near winning anything major. So I think that Pogba wanting to go to PSG is probably a reality. And I know that's sort of breaking news, but it's been breaking news for a few days now. I don't think he's going to make his decision this week. I think Varane will make a decision this week. I don't think Pogba will, because I think Pogba's wanted to leave United for a very long time and has still performed and played for United. I don't think Pogba's scared about going back to pre-season for the whole of July and August and then still leaving at the end of August or going in a year's time. Pogba's well used to wearing a United shirt when he doesn't really want to be here. Most players wouldn't like to do that. They'd be like, I don't really want to go back pre-season when I want to leave. But Pogba doesn't care, because Pogba's a nice guy, and Pogba will go into pre-season training. He'll fist pump everybody, and he'll be like, "Yeah, how's everyone doing?" He'll sit with Ollie, and he'll go, "No, I still want to go, Ollie, but I'm going to be committed to the cause in the meantime." And Ollie will go, "Okay," and that's what'll happen. It's professionalism. it's not a fallout. I think Pogba's just said, I don't want to be at this club anymore. I've been here for 5 years. I want to go and do something new. I'm not falling out with you. I just want to do it. I'll leave the falling out to my agent. He'll put that stuff out there. But professionally, I'm happy. I'm smiling. I like this club, but I don't want to be here. And I think he will come back to pre-season. And I don't think Pogba's about to drop a Pog bomb this week and say, I want to leave Manchester United. I think he will come back and it will take its time. And he might wait another year. As I said, I still think Pogba waits another year. So people can say he's off to PSG, this, that and the other. I think he'll wait another year. I think he'll run his contract down. Pogba isn't 100% dedicated to United, never has been. Need to cash in him now and get Grealish or Declan Rice in. Why have United not sold any deadwood yet, says Wayne Finnegan. I'm fully up to date with tweets, everybody. You don't need to signpost me to them because I've got notifications on my desktop anyway that bring me up any decent tweets from decent accounts, so I don't need you to tell me what to do. Thank you. I know you're all being trying to be helpful, but you don't need to do it. There is an I'll just bring this up. This is again coming up from MUFC MPB that Manchester United are interested in Ali Dieng. Why not? This boy's 23. He's a powerhouse in the midfield. You saw him against Sundowns. You saw him against Bayern Munich. If it happens, I'll encourage it. This goes back to something from 3 weeks ago that United were scouting this midfielder from Egypt, defensive midfielder. I don't know. But on Varane, I expect something to happen this week. A bid could well go in this week. Doesn't mean it will go in this week, but the transfer is moving closer, as I said, because he's going to go back training with Real Madrid in a week's time, and you don't want him going back to his ex. Pogba, I don't think Pogba's making a decision this week. I really don't. Because I don't think for Pogba he has to force a move from United. I think Pogba's in control. And he's got nothing to feel intimidated about. You know, you've heard from McTominay last season. You've heard from Harry Maguire. You've heard from Bruno Fernandes. Nobody had a word with Paul Pogba back in December when his agent dropped that story. Now, if Paul Pogba had done that with Gary Neville or Roy Keane in the dressing room or Ryan Giggs, they'd have gone apeshit at him. They'd have gone absolutely mad. They would have gone over the top, like absolutely furious. Absolutely furious. And that hasn't happened because he's respected in the dressing room. They love Paul Pogba, you know, Scott McTominay, Harry Maguire. They love him. So if he comes back, he's liked. He's not going to get that atmosphere that makes it awkward for him. So Pogba's in control. He's like, look, if I go this summer, I go this summer. If I go next summer, I go next summer. I'm happy. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, I don't expect anything to happen with Pogba. I think it's been said before with Pogba, don't hold your breath on anything happening quick. And I think it was always felt that the end of July would be the thing with Paul Pogba. Pogba missed 14 games through injury last year, says JDB. Interesting though, in the Q&A with Samuel Luckhurst, who's the chief Manchester United correspondent at Manchester Evening News, he was asked a question yesterday about Pogba and Camavinga. And he said that Camavinga is not the preferred option for Manchester United. And this caused a lot of... and he also spoke about Henderson, which we'll talk about in a minute. But he also... he did say about Camavinga that Camavinga is not Manchester United's preferred option. Now, a lot of people were getting a bit frustrated and moody about this. But look, when the season started last season, was Manchester United's preferred option to finish second? No, it was to finish first. We still finished second. So... Camavinga might not be the preferred option. You know, United admire Declan Rice. You know, Manchester United might want Kimmich. You're not going to get him. So I don't think a journalist saying that Camavinga is not United's preferred option means we won't get Camavinga. He's a fantastic talent. He has got the attributes that we want, and with 1 year left on his contract, he's an absolute steal. So maybe he wasn't the preferred option. I think Declan Rice is probably the preferred option. Reading between the lines, you always hear from good sources that United admire Declan Rice. They are in love with Declan Rice and all that stuff. But Declan Rice wants to go to Chelsea, and Declan Rice's price is huge. So that's what I mean. Declan Rice is probably the preferred option, and Camavinga may be the second choice. Well, we're going to get Camavinga, aren't we? Because we're not going to get Declan Rice. And maybe we won't get Camavinga because he'll go to PSG. But I'm not worried about us not getting Camavinga because he's not the preferred option. Because as we know with Manchester United, tell me a time when we've delivered first or even second choice for our managers. Most of them, Van Gaal admitted it, Mourinho admitted it, and I think we can see it with Ollie. They don't get their first or second choice. They end up getting, third or fourth. Donny van der Beek was not first choice. Tellez was not first choice. I think Harry Maguire was second choice. I think we were looking at. I'm pretty sure we were looking at somebody else ahead of Harry Maguire. I think it was Koulibaly, and we got outpriced. So yeah, because Harry Maguire was definitely an option that Jose Mourinho liked, but Mourinho wanted Koulibaly, and then the next summer we bought Harry Maguire, and there was a lot of feeling that Maguire and Wan-Bissaka were players that had been well scouted before Ollie was there, because they were bought like 6 months after Ollie was at the club. And we'd been scouting Maguire and Wan-Bissaka for way longer than that. So we don't normally deliver first choice. What I would say is Varane is a first choice if we get him. Mark, what's your thoughts on Kane rumours? I would either like to see Mason at 9 or a move for Haaland next year after Cavani leaves, says Colin. We'll keep an eye on Haaland. I don't think necessarily that he'll be at Dortmund next season. Mihir says that things have already calmed down about Camavinga. So, yes, that's what I wanted to say. If Manchester United's preferred option is not Camavinga and he's a second choice, and Camavinga does want to go to PSG, but PSG want Pogba, I don't think Camavinga is going to be a quick deal. I think it needs to be a quick deal because it's a competitive deal, but it sounds to me like it's not going to be a quick deal. If we're hearing that he's not a preferred option for United, and we're hearing that he wants to go to PSG, but we're hearing that PSG want to get Pogba, that feels to me like this is not a deal with Camavinga that's ready to go. United seem indecisive, Camavinga seems indecisive, and PSG are indecisive. Well, you've got three indecisive elements there, and then you've got to deal with Rennes. So, and also he is back in pre-season. He played a pre-season game yesterday, so he's settled into pre-season with Rennes. It's not like he's trying to get a deal done before he goes back to pre-season. I can see the Camavinga deal, whether it's going to happen or not, rumbling on for a few weeks yet. I think Varane is the deal to get done, and that's probably the deal that United are working on. Hi Mark, the worry with a third choice signing is whether Ollie would play him or not. Scared that Camavinga might have the same future as Donny, says Aditya. Well, check out the video last night. I know a lot of you enjoyed it, where I used the tactics board. In fact, I might just be able to show you. I was working off this basically, and Camavinga would work in that role there, and this is if Pogba goes, you've got Donny, and you've got Bruno Fernandes there. But what I wanted to say is that with regards to got a little bit of spillage there. With regards to that midfield, I still think that midfield will be McTominay and Fred. I really do. But anyway, let's move on. So Camavinga we've spoken about, Pogba we've spoken about, Varane we've spoken about quite in depth. Let's talk about Di Lorenzo. This is an interesting story. Di Lorenzo will be playing tonight. England against Italy tonight. Make sure you tune in. I'm on That's Football tonight for the watch along. It's going to be huge. There's a lot of people going to be watching hoping England win. There's a lot of people going to be hoping England lose. One way or another, you're going to get emotion and there's going to be tears. Hopefully not mine. But Di Lorenzo will be playing tonight for Italy at right back. He plays for Napoli. He has been linked to Manchester United this morning. Now, I don't know how good those links are, but it's another link into a right back. Would I take him at United? I tell you what, he's rapid. He's rapid, and as a backup right back for 15 million, which is the price that's being quoted, I probably would take him. My only issue is Italian defenders don't travel well. The Premier League tends to be a bit of a graveyard of Italian defenders. There's not many that have come over and done that well. In fact, if you can name me 5, you've done a good job, and there's been a few over here in the years that have come in, so I don't really think there's anything in that. But what caught my eye is that again it's that looking for a right back, and how does that feed into Delot? I don't think Delot's going to get an opportunity. I think Delot is going to be pushed out, and of course Delot's not back training at the moment, and he won't be back for another week and a half because he was part of that Portuguese squad, and I think Portugal went out a few days after after France, didn't they? Camavinga and Varane is another Glazer smokescreen. When will we learn, says Mark Perelez. And hey Mark, what's your opinion on Calvin Phillips? Berbatov mentioned we should sign him. Would be very similar to Carrick, says George. He's nothing like Carrick, for a start, George, with all due respect. He's absolutely nothing like Michael Carrick. Michael Carrick didn't run round making tenacious tackles. Michael Carrick stood there in front of the back four. He hardly ever made any tackles. He never really went to ground. His positional sense was elite. And he dictated the play like an orchestra. If anything, Carrick would be like a Jorginho, a better Jorginho. So Phillips and Carrick are not alike. Phillips is more of a... I don't know what Calvin Phillips is. I mean, I like him. I like the player, but I don't. I certainly don't think he's a Michael Carrick type. He's better. I mean, Michael Carrick was a screener. Yeah, Marvin, he was a screener. He was somebody who just went from there to there to there. But look, I would take Phillips at United. I think some Leeds fans think I don't like Phillips. It's because I prefer Henderson and Bellingham for England. I think both those players are better. But Phillips is way ahead of McTominay and Fred, so of course I would. I would take them. I would take him, definitely. Paulino is mentioned there as well by Sandip. Paulina, sorry, from Lisbon. He is good. We're not being linked with him. Sanderberg is a player I would keep an eye on. It's very quiet around Sanderberg. I mean, he's been relegated with Sheffield United. I'm convinced he's going to leave. He's either going to be a player that ends up going to Norwich or Brentford or something like that, or he's going to end up at Arsenal or Manchester United. Ollie likes him. I mean, obviously the Norwegian connection helps. Ollie likes him, but he's the sort of player that if you bought it... I mean, I think he's better than McTominay and Fred as well. I think Sanderberg's better than McTominay and Fred. I think he'd be an interesting signing if we went for him. He's a good player. But look, I'd love to see United buying a CDM. For me, it has to be, I want the quality of a Declan Rice, but I want the quality of a Camavinga or an Ndidi. But, beggars can't be choosers. And Phillips, Berg, they're better than McTominay and Fred as CDMs. Mark says Phillips is a D-grade Edgar Davids. Yeah, he does. I mean, look, he does move around sort of a bit like that. He's a bit like a Kante sort of player, isn't he? But he's a Poundland Kante. He's nowhere. But he plays like that. He's very energetic. He's very tenacious. He gets around the pitch a lot, which is nothing like what Carrick was. Locatelli might be going to Arsenal, Josh. I don't think we're linked to him at all, to be honest with you. So that's Lorenzo. And then also back to Manchester Evening News, just a bit of clarity. I haven't read the full story yesterday, but he was asked a question, Samuel Lucas, the chief Manchester United correspondent for Manchester Evening News, who does have good, he does get stories from, I know for a fact he does get stories from United and he's got sources there. And he said that Dean Henderson has been told that he's number one for next season. And that doesn't mean that David De Gea will definitely leave, but Dean Henderson has been told he'll be number one. But he also went to say that doesn't mean that Dean Henderson that David De Gea won't be number one next season, because these promises were made to Dean Henderson last season, and Ollie changed his mind a few times last season. So, I mean, it's quite ambiguous, really. Look, Samuel Luckhurst and a lot of the English media want Dean Henderson in goal. You can't knock them for that. I think it became a little bit oppressive. I've said that before. I felt that the whole English media was sort of disrespecting David De Gea when he didn't deserve to be. I don't think last season there was many errors from either goalkeeper, and I think to just go all in publicly on Dean Henderson was lacked knowledge. Dean Henderson is potential, David De Gea is proven, but there's definitely a dig at Solskjaer in that he's been indecisive on this, and that's whichever side of the fence you sit on. And look, maybe it will be Dean Henderson in goal next season. Maybe it will be David De Gea. Maybe, I don't know. But I think where everybody's frustrated, and I think this is where we should be collectively. Whichever goalkeeper you want in is, in a way, is a personal choice, definitely, but will not. Doesn't matter whether you're Team Henderson or Team De Gea, or whether you're just actually, you prefer one or the other, but you'll back the other, which is the way it should be. I think there's frustration there. You can see that there's frustration there from both sides that Solskjaer has been indecisive, and he needs to be decisive. And I've said this before. Jdeep says, cheers Mark, got my nutrition on track. I've started growing some hair on my shiny head. Grow the grass to make the brain look bigger, says Jdeep. Okay. And Mark, if we sell De Gea and Henderson has a bad start, where do we go, says Mark Perelez. Well, look, that's the risk. That's the risk that Solskjaer's put himself into. But I don't think it's decisive, and I don't know what you think. I don't think it's decisive if we put Dean Henderson in goal and we've got David De Gea on the bench. Or we put De Gea in goal and we've got Dean Henderson on the bench. That's not decisive. That's the same as last season. Because the public, the fans and the media are not going to sit there. If Ole Gunnar Solskjaer comes out at the start of the season and says, David De Gea is my number one for the season, right? And then the third game in the season, David De Gea drops across in the last minute and we drop 2 points. Everyone's going to go mad, and then everyone's going to say get Henderson in. And vice versa. So you don't solve the problem because Ollie comes out and says, Deeney's my number one. Not Troy Deeney. He'd be crap in goal, Karaki. I meant Deeney, Hendowy. It won't solve the problem. If you've got Dean Henderson sat on the bench or you've got David De Gea sat on the bench, it won't solve the problem of Ollie going, my number one's this player, because the media and the fans will drive it. Oh, he should have done better on that. David De Gea would have done better than that. And then we have a problem like last season. He's got to remove one of them from the football club. But I don't think we're going to see that ruthlessness. And as I've said before, you cannot loan them. You can't loan them. And then you can't loan them because the money we're going to pay for them to go on loan, especially De Gea. Nobody's going to take David De Gea on 350k a week. So we'd be paying 250 grand of that a week at least. $1 million a month for a goalkeeper to go and play for somebody else. Embarrassing. And also, it goes back to what I said yesterday. And I'm going to tell you what Solskjaer said about Mata in a moment. But it goes back to what I said yesterday. Why have we done nothing in relation to the deadwood at the club? We've had plenty of time to sit there and go, we're not using this player, let's move them in the summer quickly. That player's on loan, he's doing really well, let's cash in because I don't need him. We've not done it with anybody. Delo, Pereira, Matic, Lingard, Mata. And the goalkeeping situation's the same. We knew for over a year we had this problem. We've come into the summer again and going, Karaki, what do you think about the goalkeeping situation? Yeah, let's see what they do in training. Yeah, I agree. Because David's got to go on holiday, yeah, and then we can start Dean, and we don't have to make a decision. And then when David comes back, we'll just ignore him, Karaki. When he says I'm a playing, we'll go, oh, I've got to take a call from Sir Alex. So the decision making needs to be made. I think people will be much more respectful whether they like Mata, De Gea, Lingard, whether we like those players or we don't like those players. At least if we see leadership, we'll go, well, look, but it's just indecision. We've had over a year to solve this goalkeeping situation. And as Samuel Lucker says there, well, he could change his mind again. But I do not think that keeping both of them, even if you say this one's my number one, it's not sustainable, because if David De Gea is on the bench, like I say, on 350k a week, and Dean Henderson has a couple of bad games, and Ollie comes out and says, well, Dean's my number one goalkeeper, I'm standing by him, what's the point in having a 350k goalkeeper on the bench then if you're going to stick behind a goalkeeper that's not doing very well? The situation takes control, not the manager. Goalkeeper was not an issue at all. They've just complicated the situation since Glazer's out. Well, I agree with that. Thanks for the super chat. I do agree with that. I do agree with that. We created a problem we didn't need to create. It's like if you change your formation, it's creating a problem we don't need to create. But look, Ollie's done a bit of an interview because he is back in pre-season, and he was asked about Mata and Grant extending, and he said words to the effect that you've got a lot of young players coming into the team and the squad to train with us, and they're very confident and they think they're ready, and then they come in and they see a World Cup winner like Mata on the training ground, and they see the levels that they've got to train at, and that, and even if he doesn't play, that experience on the training ground is really important. Now, I do agree with that. I think it's a good answer by Ollie. But how much experience do you want? World Cup winner coming up for 10 years ago, or Luke Shaw, Maguire could be Euros winners. So how much experience do you want? For me, the most important thing, and I've always said this about Mata, is why are we paying him 140 grand? I mean, apparently he's taken a pay cut, but do you think he's 70 grand, 80 grand a week if he's taken a 50% pay cut? Why are we paying that much money for somebody that trains well? We could probably call up Henrik Larsson or someone like that, or Bastian Schweinsteiger, who just say, come and train with us, we'll pay you. Like, Mata doesn't play. And if you want leaders, is that not what Cavani's there for? Is that not what Maguire's there for? Bruno's there for? Pogba's there for? Do we need Mata there as well? Do we need Matic there as well? The problem I have with Mata and Matic is I like both of them, but I know that they will get given bench spots next season, and those bench spots could be going to players like Hannibal. They could be going to players like Garner or new signings preferably. So that's my problem, is that I look at Mata and Matic to a lesser extent, and I go, you're only good for an hour in a Carabao Cup game at home against a League One side. I don't see you really impacting a game against anybody in the top 12. certainly not away. So that's my issue with that. And if you want them around the club, and it's a job for the boys in the coaching staff again, give them a coaching job. That was always my stance. I love Juan Mata, I love Matic. People want to deal in absolutes. I don't disrespect these players. I like these players. I think they've been very good players. And it should not be taken as a personal thing. It's the betterment of the club. At the end of the day, I couldn't give two shits about any player ultimately if United are going to be successful. You know, it's about contributing for the team. And that's why I personally was against it. But look, I'm not on the training ground. I don't know what happens on the training ground. But what I do know is that when Mata plays in the first team, he ain't up to it anymore. And he's not been up for it for 2 years. And, you know, people talk about experience and dressing room impact. I don't dispute that. But have we not got a lot of that already in the first team? Cavani, Bruno, Pogba, Maguire, Luke Shaw. You know, these are players that have played very, very high-end football for a very long time. And as I said, Maguire and Luke Shaw could be coming back with Euros. Well, there's Juan Mata training well on the training ground. He won the World Cup 10 years ago. Hi, I'm Luke Shaw and Harry Maguire. I've just won it yesterday. And I play for the first team. So, yeah, you know, I don't know. It's one of those, isn't it? Matt Willis says you was crying about Mata and Matic the other day. Now you like him, Matt. I think you're a bit thick for a start, because I've never not liked Mata and Matic as people and as players. I just don't think they're good enough for Manchester United anymore, and I certainly don't cry about things. I think this crying thing is getting a little bit tiresome. I had it on social media yesterday, and if either don't use the term, or if you're talking about what I think you're talking about, just piss off, and we'll get rid of you. Mark, our midfield might even be worse than last season if Pogba left, even if we get in Camavinga. Well, look, I've said this before. If Paul Pogba goes and Sancho comes in and we don't get Varane and we don't get Camavinga, I think we're in a worse position than we were last year. If Paul Pogba goes and we get Sancho and Varane, you could argue we're still in a worse position, because our midfield is our weakness. We haven't improved it, and we've lost someone from it. So, yeah, it could be, you know, it could work out like that. Rashford needs good backup on the left side too, says Joe. Well, we've got it. Sancho can play off the left. Diallo can play off the left. Martial can play off the left. So we've got cover on the left, really. Definitely. Commiserations to Fred last night. He didn't win the Copa America. It was Argentina and Messi's first. I thought, somebody said to me today, oh, and you act like you know football. I'm like, oh my God, please. I don't follow the Copa America. I've never really watched the Copa America. I thought Argentina had won it before with Messi. I did. I didn't realise that was Messi's first international tournament. I don't follow Argentinian football and South American football that much. I really don't. So, well done to Messi, but commiserations to Fred, who started again in the final. He's been starting for Brazil. I mean, to be honest, I look at that Brazil side, and I'll say this comfortably now. The World Cup, even though it's in a hot climate in 18 months in Qatar, the World Cup will be won by European sides. I think the final will be 2 European sides. I look at that Brazilian side. That's not a great side. It's not a very good Brazilian side at all, and that's not because Fred's in it. But you know, they've not. That's not a Brazilian side that's going to scare you. The Argentinian side looks okay, but not Brazil. That'll be a European winner in Qatar again, and that's tonight, isn't it? I mean, what a night! People are saying you're going to get drunk. I will be on That's Football tonight for the watch along, so you can join me for that. It's going to be epic and hopefully historical. And then a little bit later on, if we win, I'm going to go have a bit of a party for a couple of hours, and then I'll probably, when everyone goes to bed, go live on Twitch, Goldbridge TV, in the early hours at some point, and have a few drinks with you lot as well. But look, we've got to win it first. I think we are going to win. I do think we're going to win. I'm quite relaxed. I know a lot of people are nervous and excited, which is great, and I am excited, but I think we're going to win. And maybe that's delusion, I don't know, but I do think we're going to win. Don't worry, I've got these idiots on social media who seem to think that Serie A is better than bloody the Premier League. I've been watching Serie A for 30 years and it's slow. Mancini's going to have to get that tempo up again. If he plays like he did against against Spain, I think England will win this. But look, if Southgate goes with a back five, that my idea's out the window. He's got to play a back four. He's got to push his full-backs forward. He's got to get hold of that midfield and be tenacious with Mount and Rice and Phillips. And, you know, the wide players have got to be, you know, making the space in behind the fullbacks. And Harry Kane's got to get in there amongst Chiellini and Bonucci. But I think we'll win. I think we'll win in 90 minutes. And I think we will... I think we'll win 2-1. I do, yeah, definitely. That reminds me as well, United Stand picks, links in the video description. If you've downloaded it already from last season, you may as well play it. We've got £1,000 cash prize pot for tonight's game, England against Italy. 12 questions you need to answer. Will Kane score? Will England win? Yes or no? Those sort of things. There's a live leaderboard when the game's up and running. You've got to be over 18 because we're giving away cash prizes. Terms and conditions are in the video description. But links in the video description. It's free to play. Just download it and play it. And if you've already downloaded it, you may as well play it because it's free anyway. £1,000 cash prize pot for those people. I think it's in the top 3 or 4 positions, so don't play if you're Arsenal. And links in the video description. And as I said, it's free to play. So yeah, and you can check the live leaderboard during the game as well. So a bit of fun for the final. We saw Olmo drop deep and get loads of success from it. I don't know why Kane wouldn't consider he's the best. He will drop deep, Leo. He will drop deep. But I also think he's got to. Randy makes it as well. The problem with Kane when he drops deep is you saw it a couple of times where Luke Shaw overlaps. He's so fast, he puts the cross in and there's no one in the middle. And you've got to get boxes in the middle, otherwise you can't score. But no, I think he'll start with the team that started against Denmark. Very excited about it. Spain did play with a false 9, you did. I would start Sancho. My previews on That's Football as well from yesterday. I would start Sancho definitely for the reasons I said. And yeah, but United fans says talk about United, please. We've just spent 40 minutes talking about United, mate. So maybe rewind it and shut your gob. Mark, David Dare is better shot stopper, but can't sweep. That doesn't allow us to play high line. It's says, well, mate, I don't really care what you say about the goalkeeping situation. I just think that ultimately it's not my job to convince people or anything like that. Everybody has to have their own opinions. That's what this channel's always been about. I get tired of people saying, "Oh, Goldbridge has got a lot to answer for because he doesn't rate McTominay." Well, I haven't got anything to answer for. I answer to myself. My opinion is that Scott McTominay and Fred are not CDMs and they're not good enough and they're a big problem in the team. I stand by it until proven that that's not right. And maybe one day they'll become the next Carrick and Kante, but at the moment they're McFred. And, and Fred could be Carrick and McTominay could be Kante. Who knows? But I don't think that's going to happen, is it? And if it does, then the whole point about opinion is having the humility to change your mind. There are still people out there who will never change their mind on Luke Shaw. In this fan base and outside, there are people out there who will never change their mind on Luke Shaw. And I'm like, that just shows a lot about you because your stubbornness is making you look stupid. Because Luke Shaw is the best left back in the world, elect. He's in that conversation. I'm not saying he's the best, but he's in that conversation. How can he be a shit, fat, doesn't know positional sense left back? Because the people who say that are being stubborn. He's a fantastic left back. And he's always had the capability of doing that. And people who saw that are right. Mark, shout out to my nephew John, who will be at Wembley this evening carrying Sterling's towel and goggles, says Martin McCullough. Mate, you take your goggles and towel. Take him a pair of Speedos as well. I don't care if, get Tom Daly up front. Let's dive our way to wins. In a way, that would be even funnier. If England score with a dived penalty in the last minute, I will laugh as I'm celebrating. I will laugh my head off. The biggest, arsiest way to win this, in some ways, would be the best way to win it. And I'm sure people will say that about Italy as well. People think that if they call us cheats or divers, it's going to bother us. We've not won a tournament in my life. We've not won a tournament since 1966. You think I care how we win it? Couldn't give a toss, really. Anyway, look, thanks everyone for watching. We will be live on That's Football tonight. I think, the kickoff's at 8 o'clock. So we will be live at about, 7:30, something like that. And there's a lot of content to come. And this afternoon, I'm going to be on Goalbridge TV with a bit of a pre-match sort of chat and Q&A and everything like that. So make sure you check it out. You can see all the links on Twitter, @Mark Goalbridge. Obviously, if there's any big United breaking news, we'll go live, but I'm not expecting it because all the journalists are heading to Wembley, so I don't think anyone's going to be breaking news about a Varane bid or anything like that. And Romano's Italian as well, so I think he'll be focused on that as well. So we'll see. If anything breaks, we'll go live. Make sure you smash the like on the video and subscribe. I'll speak to you all in a bit.